I want to create a trust for my daughter. Literally, they were just sending me fill in the blank forms to fill out. And I was like, this should be digital. And if you look at a lot of the top investors in the world right now, there's this quote that the last wave of technology was software as a service. And so now this new wave, because of AI, is flipping that upside down. You're actually able to do services as a software.
Hi everybody, welcome to the Devico Breakfast Bar. Here we speak with different people involved in the business landscape, share their expertise, delve into the latest tech trends, and explore the ins and outs of IT outsourcing. I'm Oleg Sadikov, and today I'm excited to have Alessandro Chesser, the CEO at Dynasty. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss new episodes. Hi Alessandro, and thanks for joining me today.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Let's start our podcast with a little blitz. I start a sentence and you continue, okay?
Okay.
My position as CEO gave me...
Sleepless nights.
My position as CEO deprived me...
My ability to think for myself. Every decision I make now is based on me and my teammates and our customers.
My main superpower is...
People.
My main weakness is...
Organization.
When I'm afraid, I...
Stay awake all night.
Can you tell us about your early career and what inspired you to enter the world of business and entrepreneurship?
My very first job when I was 16 years old was at Bank of America. I ended up working for different banks like Wells Fargo, Bank of America, Washington Mutual. I always had sales positions for these banks. In the old days, when you used to walk into a bank, nobody walks into banks anymore, but when you used to, you had the cash management side of the bank, the tellers, and then on the other side, you had the people sitting at the desks, the salespeople. I was always on the sales side, so I dealt with high net worth customers who came in and wanted to take out loans and open business accounts and talk about investments. And that gave me a really unique position into meeting a lot of entrepreneurs and business owners. But on top of that, I learned a lot about trust because the high net worth individuals would walk in and they would always open their accounts under their trust. So the banks actually trained us to look at the documents, understand how the trust works, and make sure that we ask the right questions. And so right away I saw that only the richest people use trust and everybody else didn't. And so fast forward to the latter half of my career, which is the last 12 or 13 years, I ended up in Silicon Valley working for startup companies. And a lot of the jobs I had were focused on companies who were automating legal documents. I spent 8 years at Carta. That was exactly what we did. We automated legal documents for startup companies and startup investors. And so I put two and two together. I put the first part of my career where I learned about high net worth individuals using trust, and the second half of my career where I learned about digitizing legal documents. And that's when I had the aha moment that trust should be digital. Everybody can benefit from a trust, not just the richest people.
What inspired you creation of Dynasty and how did you identify the gap in the market?
The thing that inspired me was when I got married and I had my first child. And that's when I said, okay, I made some money in my prior jobs and I wanted to set up a trust. I have my home. I have my second home. I want to create a trust for my daughter just in case anything happens to me. And I contacted an attorney and I started going through the process, and it was like a few months and it wasn't even done yet. And it was just so much friction. I didn't even want to do it. I knew I had to do it, but there was so much homework that they gave me and it was all manual and paperwork. Literally, they were just sending me fill in the blank forms to fill out. And I was like, this should be digital. I shouldn't have to go store my trust in my filing cabinet. I asked the attorney, I'm like, what if I lose my trust? And he's like, well, then you don't have a trust. What if my house burns down? Then my trust is gone. And I'm like, no, this should not be the case. It should be digital. It should be simple and it should be affordable. It shouldn't cost thousands of dollars. So that's when I was like, okay, we need to fix this.
How do you approach educating your audience about the importance of will and legacy planning, especially those who believe it's not immediately relevant to them?
As far as education goes, we're very big on short form video through Instagram and TikTok and YouTube. So we have two different type of short form videos that we do. We have one that we create on our channels. And so we have channels on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Facebook. We go out and we produce videos and we say, here's what the rich people do. Here's why trust is better than a will. Here's why trust is better than a prenup. And so those type of videos do really well. But on top of that, we get other influencers who have their own channels with their own followers to talk about us as well. We don't pay them to do it. We just show them that by talking about trust, it's going to help them create viral content and add value to their followers. So we just educate them. We give them content ideas and they talk about us. And we have both of those ways of really educating people.
Fundraising is a huge part of your expertise. What strategies have you found most effective when pitching to investors?
The way that I can show them right away that this is a problem, the very first question I ask them is, do you have a trust? And 9 out of 10 times they say no. And I say, wait a second, you're an investor. You're supposed to be smart with your money. Like people trust you with their money. Why don't you have a trust? And they go, oh, you're right. I need to do it. I haven't done it. It's in the back of my mind of things that I need to get to. I'm like, that's the problem. You should be able to do it in 2 minutes right now from your phone. That's what we're solving.
What are some common pitfalls businesses face when preparing for sale and how they can avoid them?
I think the biggest pitfall of all is if you're building a company that you're trying to sell. I think that's problem number one. I think that shouldn't be your focus. Your focus should be building the best company you can and getting as much revenue as you can. Number one priority should be solving problems for your customers. You shouldn't be thinking about what can I do to sell my business. You should be thinking about what can I do to solve problems for my customers. And that is going to create happy customers. That's going to create more revenue, which is going to make it more likely that you have acquisition opportunities.
As the CEO, what's your approach to building and leading a team, particularly in a company that merges technology with personal services?
AI first. I think in today's world, you have to use a lot of AI. Actually, this is something I learned from my old CEO at Carta, Henry. I worked directly for Henry for a number of years. And when we were really early, we were like a Series A company. Sales was growing and we were bringing in more and more customers and I was in charge of sales. But what happened was we weren't able to scale on the onboarding side. We were bringing in more customers than we can service. We weren't being able to get them on fast enough. And I'm like, Henry, we need more onboarding managers. And Henry put together this presentation for the entire company. And he said, if we have to hire, that's a failure on our part. It's a failure on our part to automate. We need to create leverage. We shouldn't be always focused on just hiring people. Even though we're going after a services space, if we think about it from the traditional lens of just hiring bodies to handle services, we're going to be another service company. The way that we build a technology company first is we have to automate. In today's world, AI, that's exactly what is being done with a number of these service companies. And if you look at a lot of the top investors in the world right now, Sequoias and the Andreessens and the Benchmarks, there's this quote that the last wave of technology was software as a service. Everything went into the cloud. And so now this new wave, because of AI, is flipping that upside down. You're actually able to do services as a software. It's just automating service functions, wrapping technology around it, and selling it as software. So that's why we're very excited to be tackling service problems in the current age of AI.
How do you use AI?
One simple example is customer support. They have these new models that allow for very, very strong voice agents. We have thousands of people signing up every single month with us, and we only have 4 employees. Like we can't talk to every single one of them. And 90% of them ask the exact same questions. What does a trust do? How can I use it? What do I need to put into it? Is it going to impact my taxes? They ask all the same questions. And so we created a voice agent that can handle all of these questions. And we just keep adding more and more questions and answers into it. And it allows us to scale what traditionally would be needed on the services side, but we're scaling that through software. So that's just one example. But, in the future, we're becoming a licensed trust company so that we can serve as the trustee for our customers, which is very important. And we're specifically doing Nevada because you can be your Nevada trustee, and that gives you access to Nevada laws, which are zero taxes, the best asset protection in the country. And so again, that's typically a services function. You would call your trustee whenever you need to take money out or whenever you need to make an investment. But because of the new power of these AI voice agents, you call your AI and you say, I need to do this, I need to do that, or I have a question. How does this work? How does that work? And 80-20. 80% of it can be handled through the AI. The 20% that needs to be handled through the actual human trustee gets routed directly to the human, but they don't need to engage directly with the client. And so that creates enormous amounts of efficiency. Because in the old world, the way that it operates today for most trust companies, whenever somebody needs to do something, they need to call their trustee. Well, what if their trustee is not available? Sometimes it can take them 3-4 days to actually get their trustee on the phone. With us, that will never be an issue. Because if they want to do something and it's 3 a.m., they call the AI. The AI is always available every single second of the day. They can make a request, they can get questions answered, and anything that we need to handle gets routed directly to our human trustees.
Reflecting on your journey, what are some pivotal lessons that shaped your leadership style, if you can name them?
There's a lot of different things. What I've seen with scaling Carta and going from me being the only person on the sales team to me managing 200 people. With fast growing companies, the thing that becomes very challenging is like every employee wants to grow into leadership positions, every single employee. Or they have this idea of like, I want this job. They might start in sales, but they want to be a product manager. A lot of people want to go into product. And so one thing that I really had this aha moment early on, I'm like, you can't just get the job. It's not about getting the job that you want. It's about getting the job that you're going to be best at, where you can be better than everybody else that you're competing against. So then you can put yourself into leadership positions. You can put yourself into higher compensation. And so it's like, you may think you want to be a product manager, but like you're going to be an average product manager. But if you go on the other side, where are you best? Your creative ability to design marketing programs, it may not be what you want to do, but it's where you can excel and be better than everybody else. That's the most important thing for you to do. You shouldn't be thinking about what you want to do. You should be thinking about where can you be better than everybody else. And that is very important, because that's going to help you accelerate your career, get more pay, and it's going to make you happier. You may think you want to be a product manager, but if you go and you become an average product manager and you're struggling and you get laid off, you're not going to be happy.
How do you see the intersection of technology and legacy planning evolving in the next, let's say, few years?
Everything's digital. There's no more paperwork. That was Carta. That was our playbook. Like no more paper stock certificates. Everything's digital. Digital stock certificates. Same thing with trust. Everything should be digital. It should be as easy to update your trust as it is to update your social media profile. That's first and foremost. Second, like costs need to go to zero. It should be zero to create a trust. And that's going to happen whether people like it or not. Like all these companies that are monetizing trust creation. For us, we make it free. That's going to go to zero whether we exist or not, because AI is becoming better and better and better. And pretty soon you'll be able to make a trust through ChatGPT. It's like, why are you going to need to go to LegalZoom to do it and pay $500? There's no reason to do that. Costs are going to go to zero when it comes to trust creation. It's going to go digital and it's going to be more accessible for everyone. And simplicity is the other thing, like education. So I think more and more has to happen through short form video, because that's where people primarily consume their content today. You're not going to get them to read 20-page manual on how this works. You'll catch them when they're scrolling through Instagram or when they're scrolling through TikTok. You show them a 60-second video that can help them understand exactly what a successor trustee is. And so I think those three things are very important: making it more accessible, making it simpler, bringing costs down, and making it digital.
Are there areas in the legacy planning process that you believe AI will never fully replace human involvement?
The need for a trustee, that's very important, because that's regulated. You need a human trustee. In Nevada, if you want to take advantage of Nevada law and you don't live in Nevada, you need a Nevada trustee. And that's never going to be an AI. Like an AI can assist a trustee, but like there's always going to be the need for a human there.
Are there any AI advancements or tools that you're particularly excited about, except voice support?
Voice that you can talk to and you can get it to schedule a meeting for you, or you can get it to send you a link, or if your credit card declines and a voice AI can call you and say, hey, your credit card declined. Can you give me an updated credit card number? That to me is the most exciting. It's these agents. It's agents for everything. It's agents for customer support. It's agents for sales. It's agent to serve as your trustee. That's everything. Replacing the need for humans to do this, to me, that's very, very exciting for companies and creating efficiency.
What's your philosophy on IT outsourcing, particularly when it comes to maintaining quality and company culture?
It's difficult. We have outsourced engineers right now. I don't know them. They have relationships with my CTO and my CPO. I think that the best way to build a solid company culture is to have full-time employees who have equity in your company, who work in an office every single day with you. That's how you build culture. Everything that's even one step removed from that, like, oh, you're now a hybrid company. Oh, you now have part-time employees. Oh, now you have contractors who don't have any equity in the company. It just gets further and further away from being able to build that solid culture.
Are there specific regions or countries that you find particularly promising for tech talent?
We did everything in Brazil for Carta, and that's where we're doing it now. I think a lot of good stuff happens in Eastern Europe too, and different countries in South America and Central America. I think that especially with these new tools, these new AI tools that are assisting engineers, it's making it possible for anybody to learn how to build software anywhere in the world. We've focused on the Brazil, but that's because we've built a network down there and cost structure makes sense and the rules, regulatory framework makes sense for us. The only reason why we haven't done any other parts of the world is just because we already have a good framework to build using engineers down there. I think Rio de Janeiro and Sao Paulo are like hotbeds for Python and Django engineers, which is the way that we build our products.
In your experience, what are the key factors to consider when deciding whether to outsource or no?
It's just cost constraints, but it's also like, do you need a full-time person or do you just need part-time? I know the culture side, it's a negative to do it that way, but from an efficiency standpoint, like it's way better. When you need work, they help you. When you don't need work, you can dial them down. I think it's very, very effective from that standpoint. And managing more people and creating bigger culture can be great, but it can also be bad because like people don't work out. You have to let them go. That creates negative impacts on your culture. If you're doing it with outsourced engineers, like you don't have that much risk. Somebody's not working out, you cut. It's not going to create the same culture hit if you have to let somebody go who's a full-time employee and made friends with all your other employees. And so I think there's enormous amounts of efficiency. It's allowed us to scale to the point where we get thousands of people signing up with us every single month, but we only have 4 full-time employees. We keep our costs super low. And sometimes if you hire a bunch of like full-time engineers, you have to like, now it's like, oh, we have to use them. So we have to like keep building. And whether we have something that's important to build or not, we have to find reasons to use them. That's not good. You just create technical debt. You're wasting time. You're wasting resources. You're wasting focus. And so sometimes you shouldn't be just always building. You should be spending more time on the business side of the company and figuring out product market. You know, we have enough customers coming to our site. Now we have enough features. We don't know what to build next. So we need to spend more time talking to our customers. And so I think that by using an outsourced team, it allows you to create that type of leverage.
What advice would you give to small companies or startups considering IT outsourcing for the first time?
Do it. We're doing it. We're going to keep doing it. We did it at Carta. The great thing is if you start working with outsourced engineers and you really like them, you can always hire them full time if you want to. I wouldn't recommend just being a business person and outsourcing your engineers. I would recommend like you need at least one person full time, like my CTO, my co-founder, Kyle. He's really, really smart when it comes to everything technology focused, like building and databases. So him working with these outsourced engineers is going to be much more efficient than like me working with the outsourced engineers. You need that architect that you work with full time and they can manage the outsourced engineers. If you do it that way, you're going to be a lot more effective.
Alessandro, thanks. Amazing advices. Your vision is valuable for my auditory. It was really great chatting to you.
Thanks for having me.
If you enjoy our discussion and want to stay updated on future episodes, don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell. That way you will not miss out on the latest insights and conversations from the Devico Breakfast Bar. See you in the next episode.